The steam locomotive. That great, big, magnificent machine. We had some pretty good ones, and we had some outstanding ones on our railroad. In 1922, the mountain type was the latest thing in motive power. But hotshot trains got heavier and had to go faster, and engines to run longer. And when more than once one of these big 482s out of the roaring 20s couldn't make the grade in the competitive 30s, the boss said to get something better. The new 800 class Northern type needed to be the best ever seen on an American railroad. We could tell from the design, all through assembly at the American Locomotive Company in Schenectady, New York, to the first test trains, that this was going to be a thoroughbred. A 90-mile-an-hour 484 roller-bearing beauty.
Never own a locomotive that anywhere near compared to it for ease of maintenance or ease of operation. It was just a first-class steam locomotive.
The mechanical engineer made the remark that people at American Locomotive thought the 800 class was the best steam engine that his locomotive works had ever built.
The people on this Union Pacific Railroad think that is their locomotive. They're very proud of it because it's their locomotive.
Originally, when it was delivered, we called that the 844. They renumbered so they could keep a normal sequence in our diesel locomotives. We still all think of it as an 800 locomotive.
It's the nostalgia of steam. There's so many people now that have never seen a steam engine. I think it's the parents and grandparents talking to children that have never experienced the sight of a steam engine or watched it operate that probably brings it on.
People love to hear the various whistle sounds by individual engineers and tell Mama start putting the coffee on, I'm headed for home. Use the whistle and a certain rhythm in the whistle to tell them this is me that's coming.
That type had what we term the steamboat whistle, which was a low moaning type whistle. Clear rock. The block is clear, the railroad is clear. Did you notice I had a hot for you? Yeah. How's the water? Overloaded. You're always complaining about too much water. Always.
That's why I got my face moist all the time, because you keep too much water in it.
Well, it's either too high or too low. Too much smoke, not enough smoke. No pleasing the hoghead.
No two men had to work together more closely than the engineer and the fireman. And it was quite an accomplishment to bring one of those big locomotives with a train, set it down at the coal chute, and have had a successful trip.
With the 800 locomotive, if you've got 300 pounds of steam and you've got an 88 driver, there's no effort to put it to 100 miles an hour.
People are always asking how fast it'll go. I don't think anybody knows go faster and faster until you run out of nerve. But that's all speculation because now we don't run over 55 miles an hour.
They made the same run day after day. So the engineer didn't have to get out his watch and look at the milepost to see how fast he was going. He knew the way the engine went down the road, the way it went around the curves. He just felt how fast he was going.
I said, I've always wanted to ride one at 100 miles an hour. The brakeman said, well, if you get it up to that, I'll buy you a cigar when we get to Green River. And after leaving a 70-mile-an-hour restricted curve, we attained the speed of 100 miles an hour. It was a good cigar. Running an engine wasn't something you learned out of a book. You had to have a feeling, the seat of your pants. It just seemed like engineers were born, not always made.
If you look over and see the side rods and the valve motion moving back and forth very fast, there's 11,000 pounds of force on that main pin. It has to be a massive machine to handle that force.
You feel the motion of the wheels and the side rods. You can't help but feel that. But the locomotive is so balanced that you don't get any major revving action or anything of that nature. You feel more of the track undulations than you do of the machinery itself. The rail fans are the main purpose of the trips. The rail fans want smoke and noise. They like a lot of whistle, a lot of smoke, a lot of pounding of the rods. They really enjoy listening to the engine bark. The louder you make it, the better they like it.
When you see the enthusiasm that these people have for the old steam locomotive, it, like I say, is contagious, and it's a pleasure to see someone getting the pleasure that they do out of this.
The rail fans never seem to get enough of the locomotive. They never seem to lose their enthusiasm, never get tired of it.
People want to know what makes it go, how fast does it go, how do you start it, how do you stop it. And of course there's myriad valves in the cab. They always get the feeling that, boy, you really have to be a wise guy, a smart guy to handle all these valves. One lady over at Denver, I guess says she must be 90. She still comes down to see the locomotive. The most memorable trip in my mind was when we started at Omaha and covered the western states and wound up at the World's Fair in 1974. Hundreds of thousands of people viewed that locomotive from the time we started from Omaha until we arrived at Spokane. We picked up flags for the states that we traveled through, carried them all the way into Spokane.
Pleasure to fire it, run it. It was a great big roaring mass of muscle. And it was a real satisfaction to make a good run with them. And you really got out and made good time. It made you feel like you were accomplishing something, and it was nice being an engineer.
First, the shrill whistle. Then the distant roar, the ascending cloud of steam, the gleaming brass, a mighty moving arm, and on amain the mass comes thundering. Like an avalanche or the quaking earth, 1,000 faces pass. A moment, and are gone, like whirlwind strikes, scarce seen. So much the roaring speed denies all sense and recognition for a while. A little space, a minute, and a mile. Then look again. How swiftly it journeys on. Away, away along the horizon, like drifted cloud to its determined place. Power, speed, and distance melting into space.
Well, guys, hope you guys liked this video of the West Coast Alliance Corporation, Union Pacific FEF-3 8444. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time on Nova Train Guy. This is Nova Train Guy, over and out.